Well, greetings, people of the internet. Unky Joe here, Unky Joe's Playhouse. Today, we're going to make upgrades to our VMware vCenter server and our ESXi servers. There's a hard way to do this, and then there's an easy way to do this. So you know, of course, I have to do it the hard way. So we're learning vCenter as I go. And one of the ways you can update your ESXi host is through VMware vCenter. I don't know how to do it. I haven't done enough research on it to be able to tell you with any certainty how you should do that and what the steps are. I do know, however, how to update vCenter using their update utility. So we're going to cover that in this video. And then I'm going to show you another way to update ESXi, which is just as effective. And frankly, I think it's a little bit easier, and that's using the command line. Now, that's not going to help you if you have a ton of ESXi servers in your home lab, but most of us are limited to 2 or 3 ESXi servers, and I just think it's easier to use the command line. So that's what we're going to show you today. So let's get that video started right now. So now we can come here to update, and you will see that we have version 7.0.1 available, I believe. Yeah, so here it is. Let's see, how do we do this? So I want to, okay, so last check. So here's the update. Here's some information on it. Let's run our pre-update checks. A lot of this can be kind of scary. Okay, it passed. Estimated downtime 130 minutes, so it says it's going to take 2 hours. So it's 41 services are going to be affected, and it's 5.5 gig in download. I'm going to go ahead and stage and install this update. Next. Now, a lot of this can be scary. I remember, you know, the first scary. I'm a grown-ass man. I shouldn't be scared of anything. But I'm always fearful of breaking something on ESXi, and not so much the fear of breaking it, but trying to find out how to fix it after I've broken it. So the single sign-on password it needs. This is that super secret password we set up earlier. And it's going to ask you, the reason I went ahead and did a backup is because it's going to ask you now, did you do a backup before you do this? So anyway, as I was saying, so it can be, you know, what I'm afraid of is, now it says downtime is going to be 130 minutes. I'm going to tell I have backed up vCenter server and its associated databases, and click on finish. So back to the fear. So it's updating it now. Exception occurred in install pre-check phase. I'm going to resume. I thought it had gotten through the pre-check before. So it's going to run it again. No issues found. Continue. Maybe I had the wrong password entered. One more time. Continue. All right. So, and this is one of the reasons I don't like VMware. It should not be this difficult, but it is going to be. So I need to SSH into that server, to the VCA server, and hopefully I can SSH into it. Yep. So I'm going to log in using my single sign-on password. See if that works. It appears it is. Good. Now, let's see. The instructions are to enter bash via the following command. So we need to type shell. So I'm going to type in shell. All right. And the next thing we want to do is remove this file by entering this command. So we're going to do that. Done. Now, the next thing to do, let's see, after manually downloading the vCenter Server Appliance patch, attaching the ISO to the vCenter Server Appliance, I was able to install update via the check CD-ROM. So, alright, so we're going to see if we can get in here now, and if we can actually log in. We'll try the update one more time. So we're going to go to 5480. Yeah. Alright, so there we are. So now I'm going to go ahead and go back to update. No updates found, so let's check again. Now it shows I'm on 7.01. Okay, so there it is. Reboot required. No. So we're going to go ahead and try to stage and install it again. And I just want you to see what happens. So, it seems to me software this expensive should not have these errors coming up, but what do I know? And this is what's discouraging about running a VMware lab, because, it's kind of a nightmare. Okay. Now, if this doesn't work, then we'll have to download it and mount it as a CD-ROM into the vCenter appliance and do it that way. Okay, I have backed it up. Okay, so it looks like it's downloading it now, so we're getting some progress. So this is what I was talking about, this fear. This is why I'm always reticent to use VMware, because sometimes things glitch, and if it weren't for, I could search the VMware site all day and have never found that error message. Fortunately, there's a lot of people out there more knowledgeable than I am. And if you remember back on 6.5 and 6.7, I ran into errors with vCenter Server that I couldn't actually install because of expired certificates. So, unless you're in the know on this stuff, even setting up a home lab can be a bit of a pain in the ass. But we'll get through this. We'll get through it, I hope. So, I think we're done. Let's go look. Let's go to update. And yeah, error and method invocation, error, no such file directory, storage, core software update templates. Let's check CD-ROM and URL. No updates found. We're currently on version 7.0.1.00100. Uh-oh. Let's go to history. Okay, release date shows it was installed. So, boys and girls, friends and neighbors, I think we're good. Now let's close this one. Let's go ahead and log in. To the vSphere. And of course I got to enter this long ass, I could just save this in my password manager. Oh, but that wouldn't be any fun now, would it? Hopefully my numb fingers entered the right hoochama-flotchy here. Do 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 do. 7.0.1 VMware vCenter Server. Yeah. In other words, my vCenter server is being hammered, in other words. But it looks like if we go home, it looks like we're good. And it looks like we're on the most recent version, 7.0.1. vCenter current version. Now let's see what DuckDuckGo has. Okay, so most current one is update 1A for VCenter server. Let's see, monitor, configure, updates, update planner. I guess we're good. Yeah, your system is update running the latest center of VCenter server. So now, if we come back here, we've done updated our VCSA. Let's see what they say. So we need to do an SSH session. And I'm assuming this is the latest update right here, 11/4/2020. So we need to run that command line. Let's see. Let's go to detailed instructions. Okay. Upgrade to the latest VCSA. We've done that. I'm not going to put my thing in UEFI mode. I've already backed up the hypervisor. vSphere Update Manager, or I'm going to use the command line. So, turn on maintenance mode, or you can just manually shut down all the VMs gracefully that you care about. So, I'm going to log out of vSphere. Log out of vCenter. And then we're going to come here. We're going to shut this down. Now, I like to use MobaTerm. And we need to go to 5.8. And I'm going to log in as root. My super secret password. All right. So we're there. Now we'll come back to the... Yep, looks like all the virtual machines are off. So the next thing we want to do... Don't need to allow the firewall. Okay, so let's go back one. And we're going to run this command line. So we're going to right click and copy it. And we're going to paste it. And we're going to hit enter. Now, what would be lovely is if I would get these error messages. Hang on a second. Let me fix my screen here. Is that I would get these error messages before it tries to download it. So I'm going to paste this again and do a double dash no dash hardware dash warning. So what it's telling me is, look, there's a CPU support warning. It may not be supported in future ESXi releases. So it says apply double dash no hardware warning, option to ignore the warnings and proceed with the transaction. So I've appended that now to that command. I'm going to hit enter, and we'll let it run. It took about 5-10 minutes for it to run previously. All right, so this time I got an error that it failed to update the bootloader, no space left on device. I am going to ignore that. I am going to log into my ESXi server, and I'm actually going to reboot it. We're going to cross our fingers. Right now you notice it's in 7.0.0 build 4942. I'm going to go ahead and tell it to reboot. And we hope that it's going to boot up okay. All right, so we've rebooted. Let's see what we find when we log in. Hopefully it will have gone okay. Now, keep in mind, part of this is I'm running on unsupported equipment, and in a home lab environment, you work with what you've got. Ta-da! 7.0 update 1. So it looks like it worked, even though we got that error message. So don't let that dissuade you. And yeah, 7.0.1. And if I come over to, bear with me a second, if I come over here and bring this into view, you'll see that we are running build 9627 now. So it looks like we were successful, and I'm very thankful. But this is the kind of stuff you're going to run into with VMware. So I feel like I've aged a day, but I haven't really. I've only aged a few hours. But here we go. So on the data center view, or on the VCenter VMsphere client view, you'll see we're at version 7.0.1. And if we go down to our server here, our Dell R620, you'll see we're at 7.0.1. 9627 is the build. All is right with the world. No errors other than CPU exhaustion errors and that kind of thing. So we should be able to move on from here. But this is just going to give you an idea of what I had to go through just to get ESXi and to get vSphere up to the current version. And as you can see at our home screen here, we've got our CPU, memory, and storage, how many hosts we have connected, how many VMs are powered on, how many are powered off, and objects with alerts. So if we come here to host and clusters and go to our data center, which we created in a previous video, you'll see the only server we have currently on here is the PowerEdge R620 that is running VMware vCenter server. What we need to do is add the other two servers we have so we can get a better overview of our system. Now, I just showed you how to upgrade VMware ESXi to 7.01, and I've done that on all the other servers as well as this one. So I'm assuming you've done that. You want to make sure you try to have the current version of all of them. I'm going to come up here to data center, and I'm going to right click, and I'm going to add a host. And I'm just going to use the IP address, so let me go out and find out. We'll add the Dell R720 next, so that's at 5.11. And we'll enter our super secret username and password. We should get a certificate warning. Yes, it can't verify, but we'll accept it anyway. It's Dell PowerEdge R720 running VMware ESXi build 7.0.1. Click on Next. We're just going to assign an evaluation license to it for now. I'm not going to enable lockdown mode. We discussed this earlier when I told you I was adding machine. I don't find it necessary in the lab, but in a production environment you may want to. Ready to complete, click on Finish. And now it's completed. So if we come to 11 and expand it, we should see now that we have the VMware PowerEdge. We should see we have the Dell PowerEdge R720, 24 cores, 4 NICs. It's at version 7.0.1. It hasn't read the CPU usage yet. No data stores have been configured. No core dump target has been configured. System log and hosts are stored on non-persistent storage, and that is because we are booting off of a USB key. So let's do the same now, and let's go ahead and go back up to the data center, right click, add a host, and this time we're going to add the Lenovo server, the SE350, which is at 9. So let's add that. That's the one making all the noise behind me. Same way in our super secret username and password. Accept the certificate. You see it thinks it's a Lenovo Think System SE350 VMware 7.0.1. It's got one virtual machine on there. We'll click on Next. Give it an eval license. Don't enable lockdown mode. Next, and Finish. And keep an eye down here and it'll tell you how it's doing adding the host. Okay, it shows it's completed. And if we take a look, okay, so we're getting a TPN alarm. I'm going to reset that to green. It's VMware ESXI 7.0.1. Let's see, it's 16850804. That is actually a, we're going to need to do an update on that. That is the wrong version. Let me check this one. Yeah, 9627. Yeah, this one's at 0804, so we're going to need to go out and do an update on that via that ESXi server. So we'll save that for another video, but that does have a different version. This one also has, let's see, if we right click, we can go up here to the data stores, and we can see there's data store 1, which is VMFS, data store 2, data store 3. These are all on, let's see, these are all on the IBM, I believe, or the Lenovo, I'm sorry. Yeah, let's see the host. Yeah, it's on 5.9. So that's the Lenovo. And then this is the host, data store host on the Dell R620. So now if we come up here to home, we should see our combined CPU, memory, and storage is quite fast, as they would say. So now we've got all of our hosts added to our data center view. So now we can move on with some more advanced topics. Yeah, so there you go. We got everything updated. We got the vCenter updated. We got all 3 of my servers updated. Some of them we had to do twice, but that's okay. And you saw when you have an unsupported processor, the command line that you have to run to make that work, etc., etc. And then you got to see me use MOBA Xterm, which is one of my favorite. I prefer it over PuTTY. It's got a file manager built into it, SSH, all kinds of stuff. So go and check out MOBA Xterm if you can. Now I'm going to try and remember to put the links down below here under the video so that you can go out and read that article on how to run the command line updates for VMware. Tinker Toy Try, I believe, is the name of the website. The guy's got a great website. He's got some great blog articles on VMware and vCenter and how to update. And that's where I learned, so you might as well go there and learn just like I did. So there you go, lovely people of the internet. You're learning just as I am on this VMware ESXi Lab series. So we hope you found the video entertaining and informative. As always, please give us a thumbs up down below if you like the video. Leave your comments in the comments section. Donate if you're so inclined. PayPal, Patreon, and the YouTube join button. We take them all. We take all comers, as they say. And please come back and see us again. And don't forget, we will see you on the other side. Oh, and a happy Turkey Day if you celebrate it.